Sweden. What can be said about this country? Well, I guess a lot of things, considering this is our 4th video talking about this amazing country. And amazing is an understatement for what this country has to offer, as it is a country that has offered much to the world. It is home to a culture that is filled with great pride and joy, and home to the fun and lovely Swedes. Hey guys, what's going on? Dave Walpole here, and I gotta say this, guys, just gonna throw it out there that I'm really excited to be, well, first of all, doing this week of videos because this is a big week for us. We're gonna be talking about Sweden, we're gonna be talking about India, we're gonna be talking about Pakistan, we're all the big countries that we've talked about in the past. We're gonna be revisiting them and going into further detail about them. Now, for those who are here on the channel for the first time, this is a channel where we are actually listening to you guys, actively listening, I should say, because we take a lot of recommendations for future FTD Facts videos. And because of that, that's why we're returning to Sweden, that's why we're returning to India, Pakistan, because you guys have just wanted it so much. As a matter of fact, for Sweden Part 4, we've had so many of you guys ask for it. We've had people like Peter Pan said, talk about Sweden's music industry in Part 4. We also had Max Doe 15 who said, yo, Sweden Part 4, and like 196 of you guys were like, yo, thumbs up that. We had Cat Dragon, and I'm gonna pronounce it wrong, probably Atle Walderhog. Also Barnon Wicklander, who said, yo, I want another one, and I'm from Sweden. So guys, it's a pleasure to be talking about Sweden. Now, before I get in this video, first of all, I wanna let you guys know about Grammarly.com. These guys are a sponsor. They help you guys with your English, so feel free to check them out. The link for that's gonna be in the description box below, but check it out after this video. Now, as we get into this video, I want you guys to know that we had a few of you guys actually jump on our mailing list and actually write to us and give us more facts about Sweden. For example, Kerwin Rapp, we gotta thank you because you told us everything that you knew about your country. For example, I didn't know this, that Sweden is divided into 3 different divisions. You have Gotaland, which is located to the south, Svealand, which is in the middle, and Norrland, which makes up, obviously, the north, and of course, a majority of the country. Now, within these 3 lands, there are 25 provinces throughout the entire country, with the northern Lapland being the biggest with a size of 109,702 square kilometers. And the smallest of all these provinces is Åland, which is an island of roughly 1,342 square kilometers. Now, Uppland is a province that has the most people, having 1,433,000 people. And it is kind of funny to note because you might say, well, no, that's not true because Stockholm has like 2 million people, but that's because Stockholm is located in between 2 provinces, and that is Uppland and also Södermanland. So in our last video, we had a lot of you guys comment on one of our facts saying that the Elvis name fact is not actually true. We stated that you can't name your kid Elvis or IKEA, and as well, we accidentally said that if you guys have a name, your baby must be named 3 months before it's born. However, to update you guys on that, it's actually 3 months after the baby's been born. You have 3 months to register the name. And although Elvis may not be an illegal name, there are some moments in history where the government has denied names. For example, in 2009, parents wanted to name a kid Allah, but they were like, no, you can't do that because it's, you know, too religious. In 2007, there were also parents that wanted to name their child Metallica, but that was also denied as well, although the band is awesome. And the weirdest name of all was a 43-character name. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce this. Apparently, it's pronounced Albin, but like, look at how many letters this is. It's just insane. This kid was born in 1991, they never had his name registered, and by 1996, the government was like, yes, you need to register a name. They gave them that one, and the government was like, nope, not happening. And of course, the parents were actually fined because of that. Now, Sweden is known for having a great amount of wildlife, and one in particular that we should mention is the moose. Now, it is believed that Sweden has the most densely populated amount of moose in the entire world, with them believing that there is a population of 300,000 to 400,000 moose every year. Except there's hunting season that happens every fall, and about 100,000 of these animals are killed. But keep in mind, although the Swedish moose are very common, they are not the official animal of the country. And unfortunately, Sweden doesn't have an official animal. And you know, if we're talking about official symbols, we should probably mention the unofficial official flower of Sweden. Just like the moose, it really hasn't been officially named, but the twin flower, more accurately named Linnea borealis, which is named after Carl Linnaeus, who explored the regions of Lapland in Sweden in 1732. And although it isn't an official flower, Swedes like to think it is theirs because it's not only pretty, but it is native to the region. Now, in our last episode, we talked about Mount Saratoga, which is the second largest mountain in Sweden. But what about the largest? Come on, there's gotta be a bigger one than that, right? Well, that goes to Mount Kebnekaise, which stands anywhere between 2,097 meters to 2,105 meters tall. It is a very popular tourist attraction that was first ascended by explorers in 1883. And I know you might be thinking mountain climbing, you just go up the mountain, but it's also a really good place to go skiing as well. Now, it should also be noted that unlike other countries that we've talked about, Sweden has really no form of volcanoes. And although it doesn't have any volcanoes, keep in mind that sometimes Sweden, although very rare, they will indeed get earthquakes. I mean, like, there's no place on earth that probably doesn't get it, but it is quite rare. Now, one thing I've always wondered about these European countries, I've always wondered how much they celebrate Americanized, holidays. For example, do they celebrate Valentine's Day? Do they celebrate Thanksgiving? Like, what do they celebrate that we do as well over here in the Americas? Well, believe it or not, Sweden actually does celebrate Halloween. Although it's actually different in Sweden, it's not the same as it is in Canada, the United States, and other countries that celebrate it. Firstly, it's not set on October 31st like it does over in my country, but instead it happens the Thursday before Easter, where kids dress up as witches and ghosts and actually do trick-or-treating and light lanterns. And we should also mention that on November 1st, they will also celebrate All Saints' Day. And within Sweden and Finland, it is considered a public holiday. Now, even though Sweden may be a country that has a very peaceful nature to itself and will never go to war, she does in fact have a military that includes a Navy, Army, and Air Force. For example, its army in 2014 was said to have 50,000 personnel that worked either full-time or part-time while having over 238 aircraft available. It might be small, but remember, Sweden doesn't need a huge army like that. It's got big brothers if it needs anything. Now, one thing that Sweden has that no other country has is one of the world's most valuable books, and that is the 4th century Silver Bible. It is held at the Uppsala University and is known as the Codex of Argentius. And although it is at a university, part of it is on display and you can go see it. And you know what, a fair amount of you guys asked us to talk about music, and I feel like we definitely should. Because Sweden is known throughout the world for its music. For example, in 2007, Sweden had over $80 million of revenue from music making alone. And even today, but back then for sure, it was the 3rd largest exporter of music in the entire world. And one band in particular, ABBA, has sold a lot of records. This Swedish band is considered one of the world's most prominent music groups, selling over 370 million records, either being albums or singles. And when it comes to music, you might be surprised to know that in Sweden, choir singing is actually kind of a big thing. Well, maybe not with the youth, but it has been a very popular thing throughout its people and history. As a matter of fact, it's estimated that there's approximately 5,000 to 6,000 people being a part of choirs throughout the country. And keep in mind, this is a country that only has about 9 million people, so it makes up a small percentage, but it's probably much more than, I don't know, maybe people in Canada or the United States, maybe, I don't know. It's just a fact, guys. I don't know if it's the best fact, I'm sorry. However, if we're gonna talk about music, we should also mention literature, as the first written piece of literature from Sweden is the Rock Rune Stone. This thing is really interesting because it dates back to 800 AD, and the words were carved into this rune stone by Vikings. And the reason it is one of the most famous rune stones is because it has the longest inscription carved into any stone. Of course, we can't forget about talking about smorgasbord and food if we're talking about Sweden. Now, many of you have already heard of this food because it became internationally famous at the World's Fair in 1939. It's pretty much like a buffet. You can get whatever you want. There's a lot of meats, there's cheeses, you might see it at Christmas time. And speaking of Christmas time, the Christmas-style Julborg smorgasbord, you will usually find not just meats, but also Swedish meatballs. In Sweden, Swedish meatballs are actually named köttbullar, and the common story of these meatballs is that the original recipe dates back to when Charles XII of Sweden was exiled to Istanbul. He took the recipe of the meatballs and brought it back to Sweden, and these delicious balls, I can't believe I just said that, can be served in many different ways, but are usually served with gravy. And to close it off, guys, the Kingdom of Sweden with its king and queen is considered one of the oldest monarchies in the entire world. Lasting over 11 dynasties, the current House of Sweden is the House of Bernadotte, which was all started by Charles XIV John of Sweden, who took reign of the country in 1818, and as for the current king of Sweden, it's Carl XVI Gustaf of Sweden. But you know what, guys? That brings a close to this video. Man, I can't believe that we've made it this far into Sweden. We've learned so much. And like I said, guys, if you guys know more about this country, we want you guys to send us facts. But thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to sign up for Grammarly.com. They are one of our sponsors. It's a really beneficial tool that helps improve your grammar and English, and the link for that is in the description box below. But my name's Dave Wapple, and I want to thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to leave a comment for a future FTD Facts video down there below, because we want to know what you guys want to know about. And of course, we do videos every Monday to Friday, so be sure to tune in every single day and learn about more great cultures from all around the world. But as for me, I just love dipping into more aspects about a country and finding out what makes it great. However, we have learned a lot about Sweden. It is a country that has its own traditions and values, and although it remains neutral in many politics, it still gives much back to the world. This is the country and great people of Sweden, who live great, live smart, and live for freedom. So what did you think of that video? Did you learn something? Well, if you want to learn more about Sweden, check out our other Sweden videos if you haven't seen our past ones. Also, you want to learn about more countries, check out our country playlist. It's just really awesome to learn about new countries from all around the world. You'd be surprised at what you learn. But thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. If you're first time here, hit the subscribe button, share these videos, and of course, as always, leave a comment down there for us to know what you want. Bye-bye.